Uncharted, Smoking Aces #1, Hercules, Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, Hudson Hawk, and Prometheus. Today, I've got something a bit different. I have been finding out some trivia about some movies because I'm a massive movie nut and I like different movies. I've got like a random list on my phone where I keep, every time I think of a film that I really like, I'll just bang it on my list, and then I know that I can go and check it out, so I can go and find stuff out about it, or if I actually know something about it, I can just pop it down below. So the ones that I've got is Uncharted, Smoking Aces #1, Hercules, the one with Dwayne Johnson, Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, Hudson Hawk, and Prometheus. Now, I love all them movies. Not in like any order of 1 to 5, nothing like that. Just absolute bangers. Just bangers of a film. So, what I learned about them is, so in Uncharted, so the opening scene is the plane, and it's shot for shot inspired by Uncharted 3, which is called Drake's Deception, which I didn't know that because I've never played any of the games. I've seen like videos and clips and stuff of the game, so I can tell, like, even when he's got his little holster on and his white tee, and you think, yeah, that's the game. Drake finally gets the iconic look at the very end. Throughout the whole film, he avoids the classic game look, and then the final scene, he gets his Henley shirt and his holster and like his gunpowder and stuff. Nolan North, the actual voice actor of Drake in the games, appears on the beach saying, something like that happened to me once. So Nolan North is an absolute legend in like voice acting. I'm sure I'll flick a picture of Nolan North and a couple of characters that he's actually done. But if I'm not mistaken, he's actually the guy who plays Edward Richtofen in Call of Duty. If I got that wrong, I'll probably just edit it out. But if I've got that right, I'll keep it in and you'll know. Mark Wahlberg was originally cast as Nathan Drake, which is the guy who Tom Holland plays, which I think is pretty cool because he really suits the Sully role. I couldn't imagine him being like the actual guy from Uncharted, which is Drake. So I thought that was pretty interesting how he originally got cast as that, and then they changed him and put him as Sully, and then they got Tom Holland in. So I like that. And then Smoking Aces, which #1, like if you've never seen Smoking Aces 1, I definitely recommend it. It's a weird film, but the storyline's mint. And I mean, there's no spoiler alerts. The film's been out freaking years. One of the actors, so Chris Pine, he was basically unknown. Nobody knew who he was. So before Star Trek, this was one of his early, like, notice this guy roles sort of thing. So I'll flick up on screen, like, which actor he actually played in the film for the people who've seen the film. And then the Tremor brothers, which is the 3 brothers in the film, which just absolute nutters. Apparently they scared people off set. So there's the guy Kevin Durand, Maury Sterling, Chris Pine. So they improvised a lot of their psycho energy, which is pretty cool because if you see the film, they're just fucking lunatics. And apparently half of that was just like all improvised and shit, which I like that because that means, one, they're taking their acting to a whole new level. #3 is Ryan Reynolds hated the marketing, thought trailers sold it as a goofy action flick when it had a much darker undertone. So that's pretty interesting, actually, because I think I saw a bit of that marketing and saw it and thought, oh yeah, this looks like a bit of a laugh sort of thing. And you watch it and you're like, it's got funny quirks, but it's pretty dark. But it's a really good storyline. Definitely worth watching. And the ending. So in the film, the ending was all about like who the dad was and how it was really the guy who was the undercover cop of the whole time, and he actually just like went rogue and became an actual gangster, and like all the ending. Apparently, all that were going to get cut out. Apparently the studio didn't think that the audience would get it. So the whole like ending of the film, which just totally makes sense. Apparently they were just going to cut that out, which to me is fucking mental because when you watch that, you're just like, I can't believe that is what like was going to happen. The Hercules film, the one with Dwayne Johnson. So I liked this film. I think it got a lot of flack when it came out. It wasn't like overly the best. But it's quite funny because I've just done the Greek mythology. So when I go to work, I always bang my AirPods in and listen to some either audiobooks or YouTube videos, podcasts, whatever. And I've just done the Greek mythology, and in that they just did the story of Hercules. Which, if you haven't heard the real story of Hercules, well, it's called Heracles. But if you've not heard the real story, that shit's brutal. Like, the shit that guy went through, I mean, whether it was real or not, it's just absolutely brutal. Fair play to the guy. So apparently it's not based on Greek mythology directly. It's based on the comic Hercules, the Thackerean Wars, which I've never read. I have no idea what that is, but they deliberately made the myths questionable. So the whole film plays with, is Hercules really a demigod or just a brutal warrior with great PR? So, but I liked the film. The lion skin costume weighed a ton. So Dwayne Johnson actually said that parts of the costume were ridiculously uncomfortable in battle scenes. Like, they were just way too heavy, which is ironic because in the real myth of Heracles, the golden hide that he got off the lion was like impenetrable. So I can't remember if in the film that it actually can get sliced or not, or got through. I'm not 100%, but I'm sure that in the actual myth that Heracles you couldn't penetrate that with a sword or a spear or all like that. Apparently, The Rock trained like an absolute machine to get into like the biggest, like the biggest size he could, for the role. But I mean, he's already a unit. He's an absolute giant of a man. And another classic of film, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. This one is like, for anyone who's from England, you have watched this film. It's just a fact. If you're over, I'd say 25, you have definitely, like 99%, you have seen this film. And if you haven't, you need to turn this podcast off right now and go and watch this film. It's that important to watch it. It's just so good. The whole film is just so good. I might actually do a little bit more of a deep dive on this film. But so Jason Statham, everyone knows who Jason Statham is. He'd never acted before. He was literally a market trader and a former diver. He was an Olympic diver, which was pretty mental because if you look at Jason Statham, you think, how was like how is he not an actor? Because he's just so good at it. He plays all these roles really well. But Guy Ritchie saw him and thought, "Yep, he looks dodgy enough. I'll definitely have him." So the actor who was, I can't remember the guy's name. I'll put a picture of him. He was played by Sting, and he helped fund the movie. So Sting, whose wife produced it, backed it financially, which I didn't know that till earlier. So it probably wouldn't have been made unless Sting's role was played by somebody else. It probably wouldn't have even been made. But it's such a British culture classic film. And Vinnie Jones, who I think was he Bullet Tooth Tony in that? Or is that, oh no, that's in Snatch. He was, what was his name? Fucking in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. I can't remember what I'm gonna have to flag it up and put it up on screen of what he was. But apparently, Vinnie Jones had never acted before either. But he was very, very famous as a footballer because he was absolutely terrified on the pitch. There's a couple of pictures that I remember growing up as a kid, and you see of Vinnie Jones, and he's like, I would not want to play football with that guy. He looks like a lunatic. Um, but the role that's played by Brad Pitt, he plays Machine Gun Mickey, the Jippo, who's just like an absolute tank of a man, like skinny, slim, but he can just fight any man. So apparently Brad Pitt got snatched because of this film. So Brad Pitt plays Machine Gun Mickey in Snatch, and the reason he played that role is because he saw how good Guy Ritchie's original film of Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels was. But I don't think they've got any sort of crossover link. Actually, they can't because Jason Statham's in both of them. So it wouldn't have been able to do crossover. It wouldn't have made sense. But either way, still absolute classic. Go watch it if you've not seen it, but you should have seen it. And another, this is a random one, Hudson Hawk. Hudson Hawk was such a shit film, but it's just like one of them classics that if you ever watch it, you're just like, I don't want to turn it off because I don't honestly know how it's going to end. I don't know what's going to happen. It's so shit that it's good. It's like the original Super Mario movie with Bob Hoskins. It's so shit. It's good. It's like one of them things that you'd watch at Christmas. Do you know what I mean? I like it. I really like the film, even though it's really shit. So apparently, Bruce Willis helped write it. He co-created the story for Hudson Hawk, which is ironic because he was the main guy. Um, and it bombed hard, like really, really bad. Apparently, the budget was like 65 million, and I can't remember what year that this film was made. So it was budgeted at 65 million, and it only made around 32 million in box office, which is terrible for a film, and I mean terrible. So yeah, the studio were probably kicking themselves like, why the fuck did we even do this? The sing and in the film they have a scene where they steal, but the singing. So the singing while stealing gimmick was intentional. They timed robberies by singing songs. Weird, but true in the film. Memorable, definitely, because when they do the New York song, it's just like a little timeless classic. But eventually, it became a cult classic. Like audiences hate. Oh, so 1991, I think it came out. Audiences absolutely hated it. It just flopped. But then, like people realized later on, like this film is absolutely insane and a little bit brilliant at the same time. It's just got that randomness to it where it's so shit that it's good. If you went and watched it, or if you have watched it, you will definitely understand what the hell I'm on about. Hudson Hawk, what a banger. And the last one on my list is Prometheus. What a fucking film. It, I've watched The Alien, I've watched Predator, I've watched Alien vs Predator, but then you watch Prometheus and you just sat with your mouth on the floor the whole time, just it's so good. It's so captivating. You just don't want to turn it off. You don't want it to end. It's like Interstellar. You just don't want the film to finish. But it was originally an Alien prequel, so the Alien universe from day one. But then Ridley Scott decided he wanted a bigger philosophical question. Like he wanted more about how we started and all that sort of stuff. Which, if you've seen the film, you'll understand that the scene of the guy melted in the water and created life on Earth, blah blah blah. The engineer language is real. So linguists literally built an entire language for the engineers. That's nuts. Imagine building a fucking language just so you've got something that can hold its own up in a film. That's like how in Star Trek they invented that language. Well, probably a few. I don't know. I've never seen it, but I know that they Klingon. It's a whole language. It actually exists. It's an actual language, which is fucking nuts. Oh, the Wayland TED Talk exists online. So before release, they actually made a fake TED Talk featuring Peter Wayland, and it's brilliant because that was like an ultra viral marketing scheme that they did. So in the film, he has a TED Talk, and then they actually made like a fake TED Talk and produced it and all that. And then the famous running sideways death scene. So fans roasted the scene where Charlie runs straight from the rolling ship, and then like the whole you when you watch it, you're just like, why wouldn't you just move left or just move right? Like just move out of the way. You know what I mean? Like if something long is coming down like that, you wouldn't just run directly forward. You would just run to the side at least. Come on. If you're gonna make a fucking language for a film, but you do something like that, it just don't make sense, does it? So yeah, that's actually it for like the list of films that I picked out today. Um, I might try and do this every Monday, just like Monday movies, where I just bang through a lot of films and a lot of random ones. So I was trying to think if there's any just off the top of my head that I know about, because I've always been interested in little things about films where people don't tend to know what it is. Oh, like there's a scene in one of the Pirates of the Caribbean which I love. I love every single one of the Pirates of the Caribbean. I think they were all absolutely banging. They were really good films. But there's one scene that got edited out of the film, and it's where Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp, has a sip, and the crew, actually, the film crew, changed the drink and actually put alcohol. So when he sips it, he's like, Jesus Christ, that is strong. And then he looks at the camera and like, what the hell was that? And they all just start pissing themselves laughing. And I love stuff like that. It's normally when something goes wrong, like when the stormtrooper walks into the bar and he hits his head on it. And when they made the remastered versions of Star Wars, they left it in it because they were like, it's a fucking classic moment of when he just goes, doof, donks his head. So yeah, hopefully I'll make another one next Monday. Life has definitely been life in these days, so that's probably why I've had a bit of a break. But it's not like I've got 10 million fans out there that are all like, oh no, I haven't made a video in ages. So yeah, just do it when I can, when I'm free, when I'm not absolutely melted out of my mind of work up to the eyeballs and doing my course and whatnot. So yeah, peace.